Welcome to the daily stock review of SpaceX's prospectus IPO. I'm going to go back through that. This goal of the channel is to uncover the world's best stocks where they have 100x potential. I'm an investor on the journey, just 2,500 hours in over the last 7 years, and sharing the lessons along the way. How we're going to do this today is we're going to go through that stock analysis. In the future, we'll go through YouTube comment, Q&A, and then go through some goals. But today, as we're still building the channel, we don't have many of those to go through at all. So we'll save them up. How do I actually go through these? My investing process is 5 steps just to keep it simple. And today, I found this because it's been in the news everywhere for the last few months of SpaceX going to its IPO and coming to market. Learned from these guys. They did pretty well for themselves over the years and many years over the decades. So let's crack in and jump straight into it. So what I'm looking around for my method is to go to the information that businesses actually put forward and has to publicly display. So we're looking for the SpaceX IPO prospectus. So when something's first coming to market, that's what it's usually called. Found this one, comes from the Security Exchange Commission for the US and looks to be the goods. So a prospectus is usually pretty long and this one's no different. It's about just under 300 pages long. Most of these have just a lot of guff in it. So a lot of information that's not needed at all. It's got a lot of pretty pictures in it. I'm a mechanical engineer, so love all this stuff, love the rockets, love the stuff that Elon's doing. But let's get back to basics. And the process I'll be going through is I want to look at the financial statements. So there's 3 things that I want to do from this check is do mastery. Have they actually mastered their customer? And to be honest, I think this is a work in progress, especially for SpaceX. In the future, it'll definitely get to that stage. Next is to have a moat around their product. So they may have it intellectually at this stage, but has it come out in the financial statements is where it really counts. And if they haven't mastered their customer, that doesn't matter. So moat is number 2, and the management. So is management spending the company's money rationally? So over the long term, if that business is or management team is doing a very poor job, they're going to spend that cash willy-nilly, either line their pockets or just do very silly things with it and waste it. So financial statements, index to financial statements sounds good. And which ones do we want to look for? Let's go the audited ones. Balance sheet. No, I want statement of operations. All right. Oh, that's it. Comprehensive loss. So not much of an income statement. Show it's in millions. Okay. So net income loss. So in 2023, they spent 4.6 billion. And 791 million the following year they made. But change in foreign currency translation, blah, blah, blah. And then they made a net income, another loss for last year of 4.9 billion. Net income Interesting. Okay. I was looking at the bottom. Makes sense. So revenue. So what have they done? So it's in millions, except per share. So they've got revenue of, over the last year, 10.3 billion, 14 billion, and 18.6 billion. Costs and expenses comes through. So income, loss from operations. So this is a stage where we'd be seeing a gross profit margin. But they're making a loss in these years. So where are the hitters and differences between, I guess, the year where they made a slight profit to where they didn't make a profit? Looks like research and development has grown, but it's more than doubled coming into that year, and a couple other expenses as well. Cost of revenues also kind of increased lockstep with revenue increasing, which is okay. But at this stage, business is losing a lot of money as well. Interest expense, so usually comes from having some form of debt facility. Going to have a look at the cash flow statement. So net income loss, 4.9 billion. Depreciation and amortization is significant. Share-based compensation, 1.9 billion. Deferred income taxes, loss on digital assets, blah, blah, blah. Deferred revenue. Cash flows from investing, purchase of property, plant, and equipment across those years. All right. So, yeah, for SpaceX, where it's a significant amount of the business is actually physical plant equipment, I'd definitely expect that to be increasing significantly. Capitalized interest, proceeds of marketable securities. All right. And proceeds from debt and other financing obligations. So 16 billion, repayments on debt, and then proceeds of issuances of capital stock. So they've been getting some money invested in the business by issuing stock. This would have been before the IPO, so in private rounds, and selling off portions of that business as well to get the money to be able to actually finance the continuing growth of the business. So at this stage, looking at that, the business hasn't mastered its customer. It's definitely got some money coming in. I'd be interested at this stage to go in and have a look at where the revenue stream's coming from. If it is intercompany, I know there's some links between Elon Musk's various business arms, etc. But getting stuff up and into space is a valuable need of the people of Earth. All right, is there anything else interesting here? Probably not. So at this stage, like, SpaceX is very speculative. Looking at Elon Musk's track record and his ability to be able to build a management team, which we'll have a look at now. Elon Musk, 54, Chief Executive Officer, Technical Officer, and Chairman of the Board. So knowing Elon's track record of being able to build incredibly large businesses and with a fair amount of success as well, and he's always putting in for the long term as well. So just looking at, for instance, Tesla, for example, and every few years everyone seems to write it off, but it's there and continues to build something that a lot of people don't actually see what's going on in the background until a couple more years have come along and they see that the vision, I guess, matches reality. With this one, and with SpaceX in particular, the way that Elon runs the businesses, in terms of plowing everything into the future of the business, is going to make this one a very challenging one in the future once it does start turning a profit a bit more consistently. It's going to be difficult to be able to manage when the best buy-in time is going to be, but it's right now around the time of the IPO, or at IPO, is definitely not the case. So I did hear recently that a lot of people were a bit surprised that the stock has declined after the initial public offering, and that's not surprising at all. When an IPO comes out, they need to effectively price the business at what they believe the market should be, or at least the future value of the business. And it also accounts for, it's like a car coming out of the showroom. There's the guys that need to be paid in the background that are trying to sell the car, which is effectively the underwriters that put all the effort and time into bringing this stock to the market. And so once those guys are paid, the stock, I guess, decreases back to a stage where the majority of investors feel that this is where it should be. And so, there's a percentage that will come off the top straight away, which is just effectively paying the underwriters. It's very rare for a business to be undervalued at its IPO because the business wants to make sure it maximizes how much it can get to be able to grow the business in the future. Now, this one, it's usually, like for instance, when Ferrari IPO'd back in 2014, 2015, it took, a good 3 to 6 months, and then when it reached its lowest point, and then it took another 12 months, pretty much until it had kind of recovered from that stage. So for SpaceX, who knows? We'll see how it goes. It's definitely a interesting time to be bringing businesses to IPO, especially with the ups and downs that are being added by the artificial intelligence, technologies that are coming through as well. So definitely interesting times ahead. It's definitely SpaceX is definitely one that I'll be, keeping an eye on, but it won't be in my watch list or anything at this stage. So over the next few years, and say if it gets to each annual report season, I'll definitely be having a closer look because you effectively don't bet against Elon in terms of businesses. I won't talk about political interests there. All right. So if you've enjoyed this, a bit of a different kind of take on how these guys have looked into businesses in the past, follow or subscribe for the time being. If you've got any questions, chuck them down in the comments. I will be getting to them in future videos. And if there's anything you agree, disagree with, or just didn't make sense, let me know. Otherwise, cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.